What's going on, guys? Fun with Knives here. Sorry I took a little bit of time away. Finals week's been pretty crazy, but we are looking at my Spyderco Manix 2 lightweight today. And this is, or just might be, the holy grail of EDC knives. This is definitely one of my favorite to carry. There's a lot of innovations going on with it, a lot of things to talk about, but as usual, I'll try to keep the review short, and let's start out with some specs. This knife has a closed length of 4.66 inches, blade length of 3.37, and then an edge length of 2.88, and an overall length of 8.03. So a lot of exact measurements there for you, but there's one that is right on the dot, and that is 3 ounces. Now, I know this is the lightweight version of the Manix 2, but that just blows my mind. That is just way too light for a knife of this size. I know how they do it. There's just so much research and development into this knife that they've literally perfected the way to make a lightweight knife, but it still blows my mind. It just disappears in your pocket. Feels like you're carrying nothing. So let's move into the blade here. This is made out of CTS BD1, which is very corrosion and rust resistant steel. And then this one's obviously black coated as well, so even more so. Full flat ground, iconic Spyderco leaf shaped blade there. Just awesome, ready to get some work done, very utilitarian. On the backside here, this is a Golden, Colorado USA Earth produced knife. So any USA made Spydercos are just going to be just phenomenal knives. And then we got Eric Glesser's, trademark right there. Since he designed the knife, we got the Spyderco logo there, and this knife performs a lot like, or this steel at least, performs a lot like one of my favorite steels, Sandvik 14C28N, which is on Kershaw Leak and the Blur, knives like that. It is a little bit better, offers good edge retention, a lot better than, say, AUS 8 or 8CR13 MOV, but not so much so that it is in the same class as maybe S30V. So I think you got a good balance here, but that corrosion resistant really lends itself to prove that this knife is good in outdoor use as well as EDC. The deployment is by the, once again, iconic Spyderco Spidey hole. Kind of stick your thumb in there, rotate it out, and that is the same, on most of their models. And it is very accessible, very easy to use, and this is the larger hole, I believe. Really easy to access. I do have the zip tie thing going on here, so I can withdraw it like an Emerson Wave opener from my pocket. So that just makes it a little bit easier. Your pocket snags on that, opens it up. There is a third way to open this knife. I don't know if it is recommended, but this knife does feature the ball bearing lock, which is an ultra strong lock, and it inserts a ball bearing, which is inside a polymer cage in there, into the blade tang. Right there, you can hear it snap, and there's just no blade play whatsoever. I have no fear of this knife ever failing on me. Just an awesome lock. Same one on the Manix 2. And you can open it and close it with that lock. That lock performs as a detent, so you can lift the blade out and it wants to go snap right back shut. So if you depress that detent, and you can flick it right out, and you can flick it right closed. So in that sense, it performs like the Benchmade access lock a little bit, but it is very different. Now, if we move down to the handle, there's just more innovation here, and that is Spyderco's Volcano Grip. And so they're bi-directional texturing where wherever you're gripping the knife, it is going to be pushed towards the center. As you can see, there's just a whole series of ramped just little shapes here that if my thumb's going this way, it's very hard to press that way, but very easy to press this way. And vice versa, if you flip the knife over, very hard to press that way, very easy to press this way. So that bidirectional grip is just insanely grippy. It's an awesome feature of this knife. And then you couple that with Spyderco's amazing jimping they got back here on the spine of the blade. And they got even some ridges here, same on the bottom, and then a little bit here too. So this knife is a grip monster, and it's a large handle, it feels great in hand, and it features Spyderco's forward finger choil, where if you need to choke up on the blade, you need to have some more precision, you put your finger right here, and that also has some of that awesome jimping. So far, I have yet to see a brand that has perfected the jimping on a knife like Spyderco does. And then you just couple that with that volcano grip and just the size of this knife. I mean, there's no way you're going to drop this thing. So that just lends itself to be a hard-working, lightweight knife. This is pinned together construction though. As you can see, there's just some rods thrown in there. You cannot take this knife apart to my knowledge, and if you can, it is going to be pretty difficult. But we move down to the clip here. It is the wire clip, similar to the one on, I think it's the Sage 1. Very low profile, very lightweight. It's also black coated. And you can reverse it to this other side, but this is only a tip up carry knife, which, I mean, most knives are going to anyway. So I really like that clip. It performs well. You think it'd be weak, but it is very strong. Very hard to push that out. So I love the way it carries. And then the Manix 2 Lightweight also features a very generous lanyard hole there to slap some paracord through. So overall, when I bought this knife, it was really out of my price range when I was looking at knives. You know, as I said, it was $93, and I was like, ugh, that's too much. And I kind of just buckled down. I was like, I'm going to save for a little bit, and I purchased it, and I'm really glad I did. It almost feels like you're in an exclusive club if you own, say a Manix or a Paramilitary 2, just because those are some of the most recognized Spydercos because they're that popular and for a reason. They got all these innovations and exciting aspects about them that just make them awesome knives. Now, why this is so lightweight is because this handle material is FRCP, which is fiberglass reinforced copolymer, pretty similar to their FRN, but there is no need for any stainless steel liners in this knife whatsoever. So I've heard a lot of people say there's some flex here, and there is definitely a little bit, but this material is so strong you really do not need that steel, and this is definitely still a hard use folder. So I really don't see where the Manix 2 gets anything wrong. I mean, maybe you could make a case that you'd want this clip to be a little bit more deep carry. You're going to get like about that much out of your pocket. Not a big deal. You know, that's about it. I mean, the normal one comes with a satin blade. They do make a translucent blue one. They've released them in different steels with CPM S110V, which is obviously a better steel, but at a more steep cost. But I think for the money, this Manix just offers so much more than every other knife I've seen. I mean, you're getting so much for 93 bucks, which does seem like a lot. But I mean, this is going to be a knife that you're going to own for probably your entire life. I don't see a way to make that lock fail. I mean, maybe the only thing you could do is chip this blade because it is a little thin. But I mean, that just is because it is an excellent slicer. So there's one tiny little aspect of this knife that I'm not stoked about, and that is the blade centering. I don't know if you guys can see that there. Not centered. I've messed with the pivot tension. I've tried some lubricating oils and all sorts of things. I cannot get this Manix to center up for me. It just won't do it. And there's no problem there. It's definitely not scraping the handles, the scale on it. But, I mean, with this knife being completely closed construction, I wanted, my $93 to, lend itself to say that, like, this is a quality knife. And it most certainly is. But that blade centering is just kind of an obsession with mine. I'd like to be a little bit closer to that if I spend that much on a knife. Other than that, I will give this knife an outstanding 9.5 out of 10. There's not much you can improve on whatsoever, and just maybe the blade centering. That's it. So I would definitely recommend this knife if you guys have the cash or you just don't have a Manix yet. So thanks for watching, guys, as always. I'll be posting more reviews shortly. And make sure to like and subscribe.